Back time now for our Patriot Report. Well, if you spend any amount of time on social media these days, you've seen our next guest posting about draining the swamp. Also, the hypocrisy of the left and the dangers of socialism. His real name, Rogan O'Handley. But online, you might know him as DC Draino. I love that handle. I wish I'd have thought of it. He joins us now live. Rogan, what's up there, DC Draino? How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me on. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, this is our inaugural week of Real America, and I wanted to have on some real Americans, and I've been a fan of yours for a while. I watch your posts, and let me say, Rogan, you just cut through the BS, and you get right to it. One of the first things I wanted to talk to you about is one of the things you post about all the time, socialism versus capitalism. Now, I know what a lot of the mainstream media and some on the left always say. Well, that's the first thing Republicans and conservatives gripe about and complain about and say that's what people bring up so that they can win election, that liberals only want to bring socialism. That's not the case. It's a lie, blah, 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 blah. But then you look at what's going on in our country right now, and I go, maybe before it might have been propaganda by the Republicans, but I don't think so in 2020. Your thoughts?
Well, that's exactly right. A lot of the worst, most murderous socialist and communist leaders never led with the fact that they were socialist or communist in the beginning. It was an evolution. And as the Democrat Party started to drift left over the last 5 to 10 years, more rapidly than before, alarm bells started ringing in my head. I said, wow, this looks an awful lot and sounds an awful lot like other dictators we've studied in the past. You know, socialism has killed over 100 million people in the last 100 years. These are not, controversial facts. Those are the facts. And a lot of people like to glaze over that. And so I started to just raise the alarm bells. I said, hey, I think these leftists are really banging at our door trying to take down America. And I think in the last few months with these riots, the looting, the arson, the Antifa, even Black Lives Matter, and then for people like Jerry Nadler to say, oh, all that Antifa stuff, that's just a myth, just further proves my point that these people know what's going on. They're trying to hide it from the American people, and they're trying to take down America.
Yeah, I firmly agree with you. Rogan, for folks that don't know you, that don't follow you on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook like we do here at One America, give us some background behind you. You had a really good, lucrative job as a lawyer. You've always been standing up for civil rights and equality for all and probably making a lot of money. And then you just saw what was going on in the country and said, I've got to get out there and start messaging to real Americans so they get the truth. Give us some idea about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I used to be a Hollywood entertainment lawyer, which probably sounds super crazy, but if anything, it almost makes more sense because I've been inside the belly of the beast. I see how this culture is forming and how radical it's getting. And working in Hollywood, I obviously had to keep my viewpoints very discreet. And I got sick of it. I said, you know what? This guy's elected the president of the United States. And if I'm not allowed to support him openly, if I'm going to potentially lose my job or risk physical harm being in public by wearing a Make America Great Again hat in the streets of LA, that's wrong. That's not a free country. That's an oppressive country. And it's not everywhere. It's certain regions. So, I thought, okay, I've got all this legal training and I know how the Constitution is supposed to work. And frankly, I'm not seeing enough strong voices out there saying what I think needs to be said. And so I started posting on Instagram and started to get a lot of followers. And once I got to like 80, 90,000 followers, I said, okay, I think if I commit my life to this fully, I can really grow this. I can really spread this message. And frankly, America deserves people to step up and defend her and the Constitution, the sacrifices of over 1 million troops that have fought and been injured and died on behalf of the United States. The very least I could do was put aside my professional career, my financial interests, and put out information that I felt was the truth.
Rogan, I can totally relate to you. After a bid for Congress, I got very vocal online, just like you, and I had felt for the last 2-3 years that I had probably ruined all chances ever to get back to a career that I had done for over 2 decades, which was journalism, and I found it to be the truth. I was literally told by news organizations that I was too vocal and I probably wouldn't get a job. And then thank goodness for One America, because here we are, we have a voice, and we get to try and spread some truth to folks about what's really going on in this great country, which it is a great country, and I'm tired of people saying that it's not. Let's talk about Biden versus Trump. This is the last question because they're wrapping me up, but your take on why Trump, love him, hate him, dislike him, don't like his tweets, whatever, versus a career politician, Joe Biden, is better for America the next 4 years.
Look at the track record. Look at the results. You know, media had an advantage in 2016 where they could lie about Trump with impunity. They could say anything they wanted and, you know, fearmonger. And now we've got 3.5 years of incredible results, to the point where I'm like, what were the last 4 or 5 presidents doing? This guy has done more to establish peace in the Middle East, to boost, you know, the economic interests of minority Americans to record high levels pre-COVID. He's kept us safe and secure. He stands up for the Constitution. Biden, we have almost 5 decades of results.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I guess you could call them results, but they're really just excuses to stay in office. And he really has not done much to benefit America.
Yeah.
He ran in the 80s and he lost.
Right.
So
I know, and lied about a lot of stuff. I'm going to have you back on. They're wrapping us up. Rogan O'Hanley, look him up. He goes by DC Draino. You're going to love the post. Rogan, thank you for being a voice for America and for real patriots. We'll see you on the show again real soon.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep. Coming up after the break in our Get Real segment tonight, I agree with comedian Chris Rock's assessment of Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats and their response to the COVID crisis. But you want to see how we get real with them. Stay with us. You're watching Real America.